Hello and welcome to a new episode of 7 Facts. Here we talk about the hidden and unknown facts of every territory, state or country of the world. There are also some history videos too, so if you're interested in such things, please subscribe. Berlin is the capital and largest city of Germany by both area and population. Its 3.8 million inhabitants make it the second most populous city in the EU after London. But Berlin is not just a city, it's also a state in its own right. The city proper makes up the territory of one of Germany's 16 federal states. This state is completely surrounded by the state of Brandenburg and is contiguous with its capital city, Potsdam. These two cities are thus at the heart of one big metropolitan region containing more than 6 million people in an area that is larger than Belgium. The first recorded mention of Berlin was in 1237, although technically the town named was Old Berlin's sister city, Cölln. The first mention of Berlin itself followed in 1244. In 1415, Frederick I became the elector of the Margraviate of Brandenburg, a major principality of the Holy Roman Empire, which he ruled until 1440. During the 15th century, his successors established Berlin-Cölln as their capital, and subsequent members of the Hohenzollern family ruled in Berlin until 1918, first as electors of Brandenburg, then as kings of Prussia, and eventually as German emperors. Berlin was a major center of the Enlightenment, and the Industrial Revolution further transformed the city into one of Europe's main urban centers. It kept its status as a capital for the German Empire, the Weimar Republic, Nazi Germany, and East Germany, although for the last one only the eastern half of the city acted as the capital. Since we're in Berlin, we can't not talk about the infamous Berlin Wall. This wall was a well-guarded concrete barrier that both physically and ideologically divided Berlin from 1961 to 1989. It virtually cut off West Berlin from the communist-controlled East Germany. Officially, the authorities portrayed the wall as protecting its population from fascist elements conspiring to prevent the will of the people in building a socialist state in East Germany. In reality, the wall came to physically symbolize the Iron Curtain that separated Western and Eastern Europe during the Cold War. 155 kilometers of concrete, 20 bunkers, and 302 watchtowers guarded the Berlin Wall. But all that remain today are small sections that serve as memorials. The Brandenburg Gate, which Prussian architect Karl Langhans built from 1788 to 1791, is probably one of the most recognizable symbols of Berlin and Germany. It was built on the site of a former city gate that marked the start of the road from Berlin to the town of Brandenburg an der Havel, which used to be capital of the Margraviate of Brandenburg. The new gate was commissioned by Frederick William II of Prussia to represent peace. Ironically, during World War II, the gate was heavily damaged and was barely standing. East and West Berlin authorities jointly repaired it, but again, ironically, the Eastern authorities later closed the gate with the construction of the Berlin Wall in 1961. Throughout its existence, the Brandenburg Gate was often a site for major historical events, and is today considered not only as a symbol of the tumultuous history of Europe and Germany, but also of European unity and peace. You may have heard that Berlin has more bridges than Venice. Well, it's true. Venice has 403 bridges, crossing 150 canals. Berlin holds 969 bridges that cross the 197 kilometers of inner-city waterways. That means this city can compete with Venice, Stockholm or Amsterdam any day of the week. And because Berlin is nearly 9 times larger than Paris, it's not nearly as crowded as other major European cities. About 1/3 of the city's area is composed of forests, parks, gardens, rivers, canals, and lakes. It all sounds like it's too good to be true, but it would seem that Berlin is, for all intents and purposes, a nearly ideal capital city. Everybody knows the meaning of SOS. It's the internationally recognizable Morse code distress signal used as a start of message mark for transmissions requesting help when loss of life or catastrophic loss of property is imminent. But did you know that it was born in Berlin? This distress call was first adopted by the German government radio regulations, effective from April 1st, 1905. It became the worldwide standard under the Second International Radio-Telegraphic Convention in Berlin, which was signed in November 1906. The SOS signal remained the maritime radio distress signal until 1999, when it was replaced by the Global Maritime Distress and Safety System. Oh, and just so you know, SOS doesn't actually mean save our souls. It doesn't mean anything. SOS is only one of several ways that the combination could have been written. For example, IWB, VZE, 3B or V7 all produce exactly the same sound. SOS is just the easiest to remember. Trees have always been important to Berliners, but during World War II the city went from about 411,000 trees in 1938 to approximately 161,000 trees in rough shape in 1946. The Cold War didn't help matters, effectively cutting off West Berlin from access to the countryside. This situation helped create a sort of tree bureaucracy and was an impetus for the creation of the numerous city parks that we see today. In the early 1990s, bureaucrats took this matter further and wanted to have a way to track the city's trees. So they implemented a methodical tagging and tracking system, assigning each tree an 18-digit code and entering it into a database that allows officials to monitor its well-being. Now that's pretty bureaucratic, but today there are around 440,000 carefully documented street trees, so their plan did work. These were 7 facts about Berlin. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Leave your comments downstairs and do check me out on Facebook and Twitter. If you want to support me, consider becoming a patron. You'll find the link in the description. I hope to see you next time. Bye.